Hey everyone, welcome back. Empire Build Academy, Fabian. We are jumping into the From Zero to Hero series on Evony. This is episode 2. We saw some of the basics in the first episode, and like I say, over the next week, you'll probably get an episode every day as we start to see some of those things unlock. As we go further through the series, those episodes will reduce probably every 3 days till eventually probably only need to run one a week. What I will do with the series is include all the different events as they're happening. So as a new event pops up, I'll give an explanation of that event and how it works in that particular episode. So do make sure to follow the series. If you are not following me, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help support me in doing this. Also keep an eye out for some of the other games that I'll be doing, mobile strategy games. I am going to be doing the beginner's guide to Resident Evil Survival Unit, which is a relatively new game that's come out, although very similar to State of Survival if you've played that. So let's get straight into it now with the Evony game. Let's go straight over to there. And this is me logging back in, and you can see I was talking about King Arthur in the first one, and they really do push it as though it's something incredible, special, etc. But if you remember from the first one, I did mention that there are 3 heroes, Cleopatra, Sappho, and King Arthur. They're useful at the beginning. They really do help with some of the things you're doing, especially as buying generals and things like that doesn't really exist at the beginning. So, of course, you're going to use them, but they're not going to be generals that you use in the long term. So be aware of that. Only use the minimum in regards upgrading. And actually there is some of the different items that we get in here, so you can see we get some experience, which is what I'm talking about, up leveling generals. But that one there is a crucial one, the Blood of Ares, which is a way of enhancing generals. And personally myself, I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't be using that on King Arthur unless it was an absolute necessity for whatever reason. I don't really remember too much from the beginning. It's been a while since I've done the beginning. I don't think there is probably a need to use the Blood of Ares. You're better off saving that for better generals further down the line. So that's the first tip that I will definitely say. In reference, this is what we call fragments. Fragments, as you can see there, it says 15. Those are 15 fragments of King Arthur, and this here is a copy. So that's a copy. Each copy is worth 30 fragments. So that will make more sense as we enhance the generals going forward. But that is what that is here. There are a few other things there, things that I'll explain as and when we use them. But let's get back over to there and claim that. So we will need to do that every day. On the wall, you will see server gifts. This is quite common, so do make sure to collect them. What I will say with Evony is there are a few things that you can collect often, and it's worth collecting everything that you can, because they definitely do become useful in the long term. It might seem like you're only getting minimal in terms of what you claim, but it definitely adds up. And it's one of those games that the more you claim, especially free to play, the more you claim, the better you will be able to play the game going forward. Okay, so we are going down here. So this is where we've been going from, and this is the first time we get Enhanced General for one time. So let's jump into that and have a look at what this is all about. So this is Joan of Arc, and if we click on the Enhance option, you can see we've got stars that can upgrade. Now, again, she's a purple general, so she will have purple stars. With King Arthur, he is a gold or a legendary, or an epic as it's known on here, so he will have yellow stars that you upgrade with, and I think there is also some that come with orange stars if I remember rightly. But this is how we enhance. So to upgrade the star, we do need to be aware that you are using gold, although sometimes gold isn't used. I do need to check that, and I will check that on the first star, and then we also use these as well. So let's go ahead and upgrade this. Let's do it one time. So there's the first star. You can see now it's asking me for a general level 5 before being able to go to the next level. So that is what I would need to do. Remember, again, with the general, we can't increase to level 5 of general unless our monarch level, which is this icon up here on the top left, is also level 5. You can see up here at the top, the level Monarch is level 3, and you will also know as well, which is going to be part of the tips today, Monarch 36607 treble 23 will make it very difficult for you to join an alliance. An alliance is where we have other team members that help us with certain tasks. We can join rallies. It's very crucial in all these games to be a part of a rally, to be part of an alliance, and obviously the better the alliance, the better the rewards, the better the help. So that's something I would definitely say. So we are going to have a look at the experience that we've got here. And this is one of those, you can just use all this experience straight away. It's your Monarch, it's the only Monarch you get. So as soon as you get them, use all of them straight away. Let's do that. We've got nothing else available. That has taken me to level 4 Monarch. So that is now where I can up level my generals. But before I do that, let's have a look at the Tiba tips today. And this is, you can see straight away what I've made the focus of is joining rallies, and that will become more apparent as we go into today's episode. But there are 3 different things that I want to mention for this particular one. One is changing your Monarch name, and you can see there that I've got it up at the top with that red arrow. And you can see mine says BHG because that's my main account. Talking of that main account, there may be occasions where I switch to that account just to show you some other things that I may not be able to show you at the beginning on this particular one. Changing Monarch name is crucial. If you stay with that Monarch and all those numbers, there are a lot of alliances that won't accept you, especially the top ones. They always like you to have a name rather than a Monarch name. It just sort of separates all the people that are perhaps here just fleetingly and perhaps not going to be here in a long time. And if you do want to join one of the bigger alliances, that is what you need to do, and that's what's underneath there. Joining the best alliance that you possibly can, and it is difficult at the beginning because there are so many people that join a new server that, of course, especially with alliances that don't being able to take between 50, 70 people at the start, it tends to be that the most powerful are the ones that tend to get in those better alliances. But even the top 5, whatever you can get into, if anyone was going to ask me what I'd prefer to join, I would prefer to join an active alliance with a large, strong member who is killing monsters. And that's the bottom one there. Spending stamina, joining rallies. I think it's crucial. It's the best way to get any kind of items on this particular game, including general EXP. Monsters are brilliant on Evony for giving you items that you can use going forward. And there are some big, strong monsters that you need to be quite powerful with a general, and obviously your level of your keep and all the different things, march size. There's a lot that goes into it. And if you are free to play, this is even more crucial for you, is joining that best alliance and using your stamina, joining those rallies. Don't go and hit monsters yourself. If you are only small, save that stamina, and trust me, stamina becomes a big thing. People realise 3-6 months into the game that they wish they'd have saved their stamina. And I would definitely recommend saving it and only spending it on big monsters being hit by bigger members of the alliance. Let's go straight back over to Evony. So again, let's change the name on this. Let's do that straight away. What shall I put in? I will just go BHG, which stands for Bald-Headed Guy, if anyone really wanted to know. Click on change. It's going to cost me 200 gems to change that. Sorry, name already exists. I expected that. Let's put in BHG and Tiba. No one is going to have that, I'm sure. BHG, Tiba, let's put that in there. And you can see it's now done. It comes up with some flashy fame complete to say that has now been done for the first time. Now, can we see alliances? I don't think we can, but you can see that we've enhanced that general for the first time, which is this green icon over here. Let's continue following that routine, those steps. Complete adventure stage 11 is the next one. Now, what I will say with these is these do become a little bit tougher with the generals you've got if you don't enhance them, if you don't up-level them. But again, I personally would only do the minimum. So unfortunately, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can enhance your general, which is not going to be a bad thing, or you can see just how much you need. So this is me back on the defeated monsters. I've got 2 generals there. This does actually increase as you get more generals as you go along. And like I say, if it does get to the stage where you can't complete this particular event, then it would be, I guess, beneficial to up level them. So I'm going to skip past these and then come straight back to you when we are onto another step. And now coming back onto the game, you can see I've now got the second clue for Cleopatra, which has now been obtained from doing those little mini games. I can now go into and unlock that second one on there. We go back to this again. We've got that time frame waiting down, but again, we can just skip through all this. We can literally add the second clue, tap anywhere to exit. So you can see now I've only got 2 more to get. Now going back to the steps here, you can see that the next thing we've got to do is build a level 1 farm. And actually, that's these different little resource spots that you can see here. As you complete going through all these different ones, you will see a lot of these squares all opening up, and they are basically for your army camps, they are for your resource spots, and that is what we will do now. So let's build that first farm. So let's click on this, and you can see the different things that we can build. We can build a farm, a sawmill. Quarry is available at level 6. You will see a lot of these things being grayed out when it's telling you you can't do that. So keep level 6 for that. We've got an army camp, which is also level 6. And then the last one is the mine, which is not unlocked until keep 11. So let's go back and do what they requested, which was the farm. That is now greened out, so we can move on from that. We can now build a sawmill, which is the next one. And again, you can see we've got some space available to be able to do that. Let's do that right now. You'll also notice as well that it again has those green arrows. Everything, if it's got a green arrow, means it is available to upgrade. So if we do that and take it to the level that we've got, which as you can see is level 3, we can do that with the other one as well. All relevant, all needs doing, so that is fine to do from the beginning. Let's build a level 1 sawmill is now done. Own a level 5 general. Now I did mention earlier that with our monarch, he was only level 4, but he's level 5 now, which means we can now take a general to level 5. Now one thing I want to do before I do that is I just want to jump into my items, which you can see here. We had these adventure recruit order. It is worth taking these because you just might get Minamoto from those recruits. So you can see that we've got 5 available here at the top. You might as well use them. Now, again, recruiting 1 at a time, recruiting 5 at a time, there really is an argument as to which is more beneficial. Is it beneficial saving them up? Both work for different reasons at different times. That's what I will say for that. So for this particular one, I am going to use the multiple. I don't think there's any benefit on the adventure recruit as to using them singly or multiple, so let's do that. Let's see if we get anything from that. This is the first one, and we didn't get a general, which was a shame. The reason I did that is just in case it came out. That own a level 5 general might have been better served going against a better general if one would have come out in that adventure recruit. So let's go and up level 1. We've got Joan of Arc. She might as well be the one that we do. Take her to level 4. You can see again it's using these experience points to upgrade, and that is now done. Again, upgrade monarch level to go any further. Level 5 is the maximum for Joan of Arc. That is now done, and you can also see now we've completed chapter 3. So let's jump through that. Upgrade to level 4 keep is the next thing that we need to do. So we will need to build the wall before we do that, so let's upgrade that. Again, you can see everything is nice and cheap at the beginning. There's no speed up required, and that is again without Sappho. I haven't purchased Sappho, and remember she does come with those 25 minutes to boost your construction, as well as 10% construction speed. 99p, like I say, it can be worth it, especially if we do get further on and we struggle, and those 25 minutes and that 10% can help out. But personally, for this particular Zero to Hero series, I'm not going to purchase her and just see how we get on without using her at the beginning. We can now upgrade the keep to level 4, which was the requirement in the steps. That is now done. Technology is a strong boost for our empire's growth. Let's build an academy to do some research. Research is key on all of these games. It doesn't matter which one you are playing. My tagline for Empire Build Academy: knowledge is power, and that is the case for every single one of these games. Doing research is crucial. Now, what I will say on this, let's see what they're asking us first. First of all, they're asking us to get another builder, which we will do, and it's also asking me, forcing me to use a 5-minute speed up to complete that, because you do get speed ups for your construction, for your training, for your research that you can do. So you can now see that that is completed, and it's now given us a builder slot, which is now pointing at over here, which we can now click on, and we can spend 300 gems to unlock one for 3 days. And then we've also got the 500 gems we can spend for another one, or free with your VIP level. VIP will mean more as we go further. Let's click on the free option for doing that. We now have 2 builder slots available. So going back to the research, I was talking about knowledge is power. All games use this really to play this. It doesn't matter what game you are playing. Knowledge is power. It is crucial, and I would recommend doing what you can when you can. Now, I have done a research video. I did a lot of these videos in 2025 when I didn't really know what I was doing. I certainly could have explained things a little bit better, and that's exactly what I will try to do with this particular series. Now, what I will say on Academy is, you can see here we've got some tabs here that are all got the padlock to say we haven't unlocked them. So defense, if I went into this, you can see I'd need Academy level 2, so I'd need to upgrade the Academy. Military is also requiring the level 2 Academy. So let's go and do that right now. Let's go and upgrade to the maximum level so we can see some of those. So that's now gone all the way to level 4. Let's click on research, and you can now see we've unlocked some of those tabs all the way up to subordinate city. Now there are different tabs: advancement, defense, military, medical, alliance, subordinate, recovery, military advance, defense advance, offensive mastery, and defensive mastery. And just to give you an idea, military advance, I need Academy level 28. So you can see that's a long way before you get anywhere near that. You can also see as well that each of the tabs have their percentage marks to show you how much of that particular tree you have completed. So that is a cool thing to keep an eye on. Now, what I will say with this, I always believe that advancement, or whatever the tab is, there's always one. Sometimes it can be called economy, development. There's lots of different ways that it can be described on these games. But what I will say is this is definitely a good area to concentrate on at the beginning, because you're going to do things like speeding up training. You're going to be doing things like construction speed percentage increase, research spending increase. If we have a look at some of these going down, increases the capacity of the training of troops, so we can put more troops, so we can train more troops when that happens. So let's have a look at this advancement. So you can see the builder is the first one we've done. The next one down is increasing the hourly production for the city's farms. Same again for this, that would be for the sawmills. We've got construction speed percentage, again that is 1%. You can also see the requirements. If they're in red, that means you are not able to complete that particular task. So do be aware of that. Continuing down, masonry, we've got the hourly production again. Carriage wheel increases the capacity of a single troop load. So that is when you are sending your troops out to gather, they will be able to hold and carry more. Gathering march speed, how quick you're going to actually get to those resource spots. We've got furnace, increasing the hourly production. Typography, that's your research one. Again, this is crucial. As soon as you get down to there, completing as much of that as possible straight away is going to speed up your research, so that you're not using all those speed ups that we used to do that building one at the beginning. We've got the production speed again. There's also gathering, I believe, as well. We've got construction for speed. Let's continue down, and you can see the advanced forage. This is where the gathering speed is increased, again worth doing. Advanced logistics increases the capacity. All the way down, coinage increases the amount of gold you can levy. Now on these games there are always things that are hard to come by, and gold is definitely one of them. It's one that I'm really struggling with my BHG level 39 keep. So getting that gold and getting as much of that gold as you possibly can is always important. Now, gems gathering, I'll be honest, I never do gems gathering because it takes forever for very little return. So personally myself, I go after the resource spots, the food, which tends to be a difficult one in the long term, and things like that. So the resource spots are what I do. What I also would mention as well with your resource spot is just keep an eye on that food up there. Don't open food when you don't need to, because it will eventually be consumed by generals, which is a complete waste. If you haven't got it open, the troops can't consume it, and it is saving you. The other three don't matter. The wood, the stone, and the iron, those don't matter. The food, never open it. Never open it. And I say don't matter, actually, it does matter. Because if you open just normal resources, then of course it can actually be stolen in attacks against your city. So I say it's not important, it is. There are safe resources that you can open, so ignore that tip that I just said. It's probably wise to go with the theory of not opening anything until you actually need it. That would be the better tip for that. So that's what I would concentrate on here. I'll be working my way all the way down these different things. Again, I would still be following the steps that it's showing you again down here. So let's go and continue doing that. Build a level 1 academy, we've done that. Complete adventure stage 16, let's do that quickly now. Enhance generals for the second time is the next task. We can go into the enhance here. And again, we can upgrade that start, which has now been completed. That is now complete, so we can do that. Complete Mysterious Realm Stage 1. So this is a puzzle type adventure. Again, it's a mini game that we need to do. And this is that Mysterious Realm, and you can see it continues all the way up and goes with the different stages. And I believe there are more stages that unlock as you go along. So if we go into attack here, you can see it's just the one general we have. Again, it's the same feeling. We've got to go and kill an X amount of monsters. Obviously, these do get tougher as you go along. So you can see we've got the different things that we have to now try and avoid, as well as trying to kill the monsters. And once you've got a feel for this, again, I mentioned it in the first one. I'll mention it again in this one. Pretty straightforward. And I can honestly say, actually, with my account, I don't even know if I've genuinely completed it, because once I'd got to the stage of no longer needing whatever came from it, and I'll be honest, the resources are very small. I mean, just to give you an example there, 5x5 construction speed ups. This is one of those games that I would say that gives quite a lot away from the events that they do. So eventually you will see all these different events, and actually we've got an example of that going down the right hand side, and especially once you go further through, you can see we've got all these different ones here, and let's actually have a look at how this works. So the first thing they've got there is a $4.99 pack. They're saying it's 100,000% return. Again, $4.99, is it worth it? I would rather hold my money back, especially if I'm going to be a low spender, and spend it on something else. Of course, at the beginning, if you are wanting to be one of the people that is a bigger power from the beginning, then unfortunately you haven't really got much else you can do. We've got obviously the 7-day signings. We've got the 99p Sappho that we mentioned earlier. We've got gems purchase. Now, this one here, let me just have a look at this one. 99p, and the different ones you get. This one actually isn't too bad. And the reason I say that is because it comes with some decent resource. Refined stones are something that we use as we go along. Same with the treasure boxes. And again, we've got some more resources. So for 99p, this is actually, in my opinion, not a bad pack. And you also can see at the bottom there, it comes with some fragments. That's actually for any general that is available to use those particular fragments. So the epic general fragments, and you will be able to use these exclusive ascension fragments on those generals. So for 99p, it's something that I do purchase quite often. You can also see we've got this first purchase going on as well, where we will get Theodora. Click on Theodora, increases ground troops and mountain troop attack by 30% and increases 10% double item drop rate from monsters when general is leading the army to attack. Now the question is, do you get Theodora when you purchase Sappho? The answer is yes, you only have to spend that 99 pence. So going back onto that, and if you just want to check where I got that, that was actually on the Empire Depot down here. So there are a few things that you can also check down there. But if you go into that Empire Depot, you will also see that first purchase option where you get Theodora. She's good for monster hunting. So again, for 99p, not only will you get Sappho, you will also get Theodora as well. And like I say, she's very good for monster hunting. If you go across here, again, we've got the login gifts that I just mentioned, the 99p. I do think it's worth it. Strategic stockpile. This is one of those that is quite expensive. There's normally a free one that they give you every day when it's strategic stockpile event. So the events don't run every single day, and that's what happens with this one. Growth fund, the more you spend, the more you can unlock as you are doing all these different things. Super fund, this is again, it's throwing packs at you. I say hold off. Unless you have got plenty of money to spend and it really doesn't matter to you, hold off. Wait until there will be something called the Soulish Wishing Pool that will unlock. Again, I think it could be a few weeks before we see that. That is what I'll recommend to you doing. We've got the Historic General Sale. We've got the New Server Limited as well. Again, lots of different things that we can collect from. And now you may notice as well, there is a red icon, red dot on these. That normally means you've got something you can collect, and it normally means you can collect them for free as well. So when we go into this one, you can see that there are some things that we can claim. So we can claim that one. It didn't take us to level 1. Free welcome package. This is one of those where you can use gems that you will get a return for in the future. So let's have a look at our gems. You can see we've only got 300 at the moment, but again, it is free. It is worth doing. I would recommend doing that. That is pretty much it. Again, where am I on the minutes? I did actually manage to get yesterday's one down to 20 minutes after I did the editing beyond that. So again, although it seems like I'm not progressing very far, again, it's trying to keep it all down and not giving you too much information in one go. But you can now see we're starting to unlock things. We're starting to unlock the option to purchase packs. Again, hold off. We can see we've now got the 7-day sign-in with King Arthur, who again, from the first episode I mentioned, he's a decent general. You get him for free, but be aware that these Blood of Ares, which you can see here, I wouldn't necessarily be spending that on King Arthur. Again, we've got Sappho. Now, again, she's 99p. But you're not just getting Sappho, you're also getting Theodora because of that first purchase. So it is potentially worth it for that 99p. Or you can also go after the logging gifts, which for 99 pence is coming with some decent rewards there. Especially the 35 million super safe resource chest. This is actually resources that can't be stolen off you. So that is something I would consider purchasing if I wasn't going after Sappho. You can also see as well Adventure. That's the last thing that we'll talk about on here. But you can see that there are different things. You can actually see Adventure. Let me just go into this and see. So you gain points for completing the different adventures. And you can see that currently, somehow, I don't even know, I don't even feel like I've done much. I'm in 3rd place for doing the relevant task on here. So it just goes to show that if you are doing these things regularly, you can get that. So gain points, +1 per completion, and it is for doing this. So working your way across the adventure as much as you can is going to then put you in the chance for prizes. And you can see first place, you are getting 30 fragments for King Arthur. I'm only getting 4. So you can see it's a significant drop the further down you go. So if you are able to work your way across this and get yourself nice and far in those first 24 hours, it might even be one of those that it's first come, first serve in terms of if everyone was to complete it. Although I think there's quite a few stages, so I don't know if that is necessarily the case. When I actually first started this on BHG on my level 39 keep, this wasn't available, this particular way of doing things at the beginning. There are a few things down the bottom to be aware of. We can also go into settings. We can change things in there. There are also redeem codes that you can get, which you can go and Google. I will be adding them to my website as well, empirebuildacademy.com. And like I say, that's where I'm going to leave it. The last thing I'm just going to do is jump very quickly into the Empire Build Academy Tiba tips. And the 3 tips that I'm sharing for today on this particular one is change your monarch name. It will help you get into the bigger alliances. Join the best alliance that is possible. And let me just go back into that, and you can see here we've got the Alliance tab here on the right hand side. So I'm just going to circle that there for you now quickly. That is what we want to do. We want to join in the alliance, and this is showing you all the different alliances that are available. Now, of course, the big ones right at the top We've got server 2123 here, top. We've got Empire of Legends, PKA. Now, deciding which one is the best alliance, normally when you go into this settings tab, it'll have rankings in here, but we obviously can't do that. So again, when you're going in here, alliance power ranking, there we go, we can see it via there. So 566, 240, first and second. Now, the reason that is because a lot of people on Evony are in knowledge as to how the game works. Eventually it becomes server versus server, which means at the beginning, for the first couple of months, you are fighting amongst each other in your own server, but eventually you all sort of merge into the top two alliances going ahead in server versus server. So server 2123 versus server 2124. That's how it will sort of progress as you go further down. And that is why 566.4 and 240.5, that is why that is happening. Now, if we go into this, you can see 72 of 80. They've also put what they don't want and what they do. So do not attack other players' keeps, subcities or resource tiles. And that is a very good point. I'm really glad that they said that, because you don't want to be hurting other people that are part of your server that will be helping you win these server wars against other kingdoms. So that is why it's good to be in an alliance and in a server that is all working towards, gearing towards those server wars, which will come in the future. So let's click on Join Alliance. You've applied to join the alliance. I would imagine, let's go and have a look at the power of the members. So we've got some R4s there. 52.8 million is at the top. Normally I scroll all the way down to the bottom to see who is in here. So we can see we've got a 610.6k, and it would be normally them kind of people. I'd be looking almost for an average to what I need my power to be, and sort of getting that to that level so that I'm worth it. So 49,933 absolutely isn't going to be there. But what I'm going to do now off screen is I'm just going to up level some of those generals. So if I go into my generals here, I can see I've got some new generals there that I can work with. If I went and got Sappho, if I went and got Theodora, they're epic generals. They're also going to aid towards your power. I can also do a little bit more on the research in the academy. And also you can see these buildings with the green arrows that I mentioned, upgrading them. That is what I will be doing off screen. That's what I recommend you do, is just getting a few of those buildings up. And when I come back in tomorrow's video, a few of them will be done. I should be part of one of the top alliances, and then we'll take things from there. So again, I am going to mention, if this is the kind of content you enjoy, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be doing all the Evony guides from the beginning, 2026 version. Going to do them better than I originally did in 2025, which was my first experience of YouTube. So do keep an eye out for them. Do consider subscribing, as I mentioned. And I will see you in tomorrow's video very soon. Thanks for watching.